Bryce Hopkins is in the portal, the Providence forward, who spent 3 seasons playing for the Friars. Started his career at Kentucky back in 2021, which seems like a really, really long time ago. He transfers to the Big East to Providence. He's extremely productive there. He averaged 15 points, almost 9 rebounds, starting all 33 games for Providence in that first year after coming from the portal. He was doing honestly the same numbers the year after that, and then he unfortunately tore his ACL, so he only played about 14 games that season. He returns to the lineup after like 11 months after that, right in like late December. Didn't really seem the same. Has he had some nagging injuries, so he basically shut it down for the rest of the season. Now he enters the portal with what is said to be probably a host of suitors, but he also entered with a no contact tag. I think we all know what that means. Dion, if you enter the portal, would you enter with a no contact tag?
No. So I want to be contact.
That
I'm
I would check off like, please overly contact me.
like I want to go on all the visits. Like I'm drawing this thing out to like June. I'm talking like if you're playing in the Final Four and you contacted me, I expect to be behind the bench.
Yeah,
It's as simple as that.
big facts, big facts. But so there's a couple different possible destinations for Bryce Hopkins. Obviously, there's some rumors that maybe he wants to go play for Ed Cooley again, as Ed Cooley was his coach before he moved on to Georgetown. Georgetown has a little influx of NIL that could possibly be a factor in this one, but the early rumor right now, the early prediction is that St. John's and Rick Pitino are going to scoop him up, which it seems like Rick Pitino is taking over the Big East, and he's also making sure that if any teams below him in the Big East have good players, he takes them. Those are his. Like he saw Kadari Richmond last year at Seton Hall, he said, "No, mine." Bryce Hopkins, really good player. I think when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the Big East. I don't think you can deny that. A guy that can give you 15 and 9 is definitely a weapon, given kind of his tweener size, is like this four man who's not necessarily big enough to be a four, but too big to be a three. Kind of a really good utility guy, but he's a really talented player, and I could easily see him fitting into St. John's system. But also at the same time, I've watched a good amount of Bryce Hopkins in his career, right? He's not necessarily like defensive guy, right? And you look at St. John's, and everybody who plays on that team is kind of defense, defense, defense. What do you think his fit is if he was to go to St. John's? And if you don't think it's St. John's, where do you think he should possibly go?
I like the St. John's fit. I'm gonna be honest, and like maybe St. John's fans won't like this. I know Kadari Richmond won't necessarily like this. I'm not sure he's the greatest defender.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. He's got the length, so he's a pretty good defender.
If he wants to be. There's a lot of moments where he don't want to be, I feel
Rick
like.
Pitino makes him do that. I think that's where it comes from.
That's fair. But I think Bryce Hopkins could be the same spot where it's like you get with Patino, you don't have a choice but to do this, right? I've always felt this way about defense. I don't know if you feel similarly, like having played. Like the moments where I wanted to be a good defender, I could have. They just came so few and far between. I feel like everybody that plays basketball can be a good defender if you want to be. Just most people don't. And Rick Pitino doesn't give you a choice. So I feel like with the offensive game that he brings, I mean, he shot 40% from three this. He did not shoot 40% from three this year. I mean, that just couldn't have been no, he did. He did. He did. I was looking at the previous year. 40% from three mixed in with Rick Pitino being able to get him to play defense. I do like the fit. He only played 3 games this year, though.
Yeah, and I think there'd be a clear role for him on St. John's next year. I think he'd be coming to that team and be able to dip in it. Um, and also this will just lead to like the Big East love triangle circle that it seems to be like just all this messiness going on. Because look, the fact of the matter is like Bryce Hopkins was one of the higher players on Providence this year, and because of injuries, because of all that, he really didn't play much, and he still got paid. And now, there's a couple rumors out there that maybe he didn't necessarily want to come back as fast as he wanted to. That's not fair to speculate to a kid. I mean, he had a real serious ACL injury. It was a nasty one, and some people take longer to come back from that. And obviously, when I watched Bryce Hopkins earlier this season when he tried to give it a go, just he didn't look right. He looked like he maybe came back a little too soon. He didn't look right. And a bad year for Providence goes from bad to worse because just just a month ago, Kim English is having press conferences and saying he can't wait to have Bryce Hopkins back next year. And sayonara, you'll be facing him next year at St. John's, and I think he'll be a pretty good player. If you could pick one destination for him outside of St. John's, what are you thinking? Because he kind of fits in the Big East, to be honest. He's like a Big East mold of a player.
I was gonna say I also feel like Big East players like I feel like they transfer within the Big East a lot, specifically to St. John's.
You're right. That's what I'm saying. Honestly, I could see a world where he could get a bag, he could get a role that he wants to be like the guy. Eric Dixon's leaving Villanova. Maybe you go there, you be the guy there. They don't even got a coach right now, so
I saw a wild head coach rumor for Villanova yesterday that I won't even acknowledge, but there's been some wild like rumors floating around with Villanova. I think St. John's within the Big East, St. John's makes sense. Sneaky team that makes sense is UConn.
you gotta watch out for UConn. Yeah, especially like Caravan leaves. Maybe you got a spot for him
Mhm.
on that team, but
Especially
uh,
if solo ball leaves too. Like if you lose solo ball, Caravan, and McNeely, obviously you're bringing in my opinion, the best freshman class in the country, but you could use a vet that can shoot the ball a little bit.
yeah, 100%. But uh, given how this situation is playing out, Rick Pitino and St. John's are in Providence playing this weekend. He's gonna find his way over, right? Go ahead. Let's go ahead and let's wrap this up.
The all the because this happened with my dog Tuck too and Darian. So all this little like, nah, man, we gotta do something about this. We gotta do NCAA. We gotta do something about the tampering.
Hey, it's happening right in front of our eyes, man. I know damn well that Rick Pitino is not just in Providence right now, just getting his team ready. All right, they got Omaha the first game. He's taking a little bit of time to say, "Oh, what are you doing in the dining hall, coach? Oh, I was just trying to find some food. What are you doing here? Why go here? Oh, you in the
If
portal?
if he breaks the white suit out for Omaha, I just want it known I have an issue with it. And I never have an issue with when Patino wears the white suit for any game. If he wears it for Omaha, I know what you're doing, Rick. I know what you're doing.
Yeah, we're on to you, but it'll be interesting to see where Bryce Hopkins goes. Obviously, a really good player when healthy. I just hope that he is fully healthy as the next stop. I'm sure he'll have a fair amount of suitors that will be paying a pretty price tag for Bryce Hopkins as well. But we'll have that. We'll follow his commitment on here on Sleepers Media YouTube channel. Be sure to tap in. It is March, and that means that March Madness is upon us. And if you are looking for a place to play, Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Sign up and deposit using code SLEEPERS, that's code SLEEPERS, to receive up to $1,000 in bonus credit plus a free pick. Head over to Underdog Fantasy today and use promo code SLEEPERS to take advantage of this amazing offer.